Hello and welcome to another gauge update from fitgauges.com. Today I'm going to show you an update for all of my clock gauges that have a timer. So I have three gauges. I have the analog gauge, the digital gauge, and the digital gauge with outside ambient temperature and voltage. So one thing that's been bugging me for a long time was that I couldn't stop and start the timer. It was always running. So recently one of my beta testers poked me to say, "Oi, can you sort this out once and for all?" So I gave it a go and actually managed to resolve it. So I have now applied this to all three gauges. So here we have the analog clock. So we switch over to timer. And you can see the timer was running, and previously you would hit S6 just to reset it back to 0. But now you can press S6 and it will stop the clock and it'll just pause. And then you press S6 again and the clock will start ticking again. So toggling the S6 button will stop and start. So if you want to reset the timer now, you have to do a long press of the FIP, or on a virtual FIP you would just right click and that'll reset the timer to 0. So if the timer is paused and you reset, it'll stay at 0 and it won't start ticking away. And you can start and you can pause and right click or long press will reset. Okay, so let's switch over to my other gauges. So we have the digital gauge, same thing here. Switch over to timer and you can stop the timer, and the timer light lights up here now to indicate that it's paused, and you can press again and the timer will start ticking away. And once again, a long press or a right click on a VFIP will reset the timer back to 0. And last but not least is my other gauge. This is the new digital clock with the 018 volts. Once again, we'll switch over to the timer. And now, one thing I have added in here is a little indicator of the seconds, because there's not enough space on this gauge to put seconds. And while I could have squeezed it in, it wouldn't have looked like the actual gauge. So I have actually put in a little seconds bar on the bottom, so you get an indication that it is actually running, but also you get an indication of as to roughly when it's going to change, like now. There's also a little new icon here showing that it's currently playing, and if you hit the S6, it's now paused and basically it's stopped. Okay, so that's an update for all three gauges. Please download these gauges again from the store if you own them, and hope you found this useful. Come back and check out some of our other videos soon, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Bye for now.